And we have here on Lilac Crest spawning in the top right, the Blue Terran. He is quite intense.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner from Team Ascension Pro, it is Nistic.
And funny comments in the chat. I think we have some ASL viewers in the chat because they're asking for more K-pop during breaks.
We don't do K-pop here. I don't know what we do. What do we do, Damon? I don't know what music. Oh, you guys get silence. That's intense, man. You guys.
The Sound of Silence, great Simon and Garfunkel tune, as we all know. Of course, most statistically, like StarCraft players tend to enjoy Simon and Garfunkel. It's been proven. A little bit of extractor trick action. Hatch first over here for Nistic. And we'll have to see. No gasless style here, so gonna go for the gas expand. A little bit safer and allows you to tech a little bit quicker. The economy is a bit weaker than if you decide to go for gasless. One of the main reasons to go for a speed opener on this map particularly is that giant space in the open natural expansion. You have multiple entrances, first of all, to that high ground that protects you. And second of all, it's just a lot of area to cover. So getting speed links helps a lot, especially against Reapers, which is what we're seeing from Intense and can be fairly predictable.
Intense with a very normal Reaper fast expand, of course, that is pretty much your avenue into anything except for the proxy racks, cheese, etc. Just also to talk about that lane pressure that can come out of a Nistic. Of course, Lilac Crest is the biggest natural base at the moment of any map, and it makes it hard because they can get right into there, get right on you, and it's very hard to make walls in a nice surface area as Terran at the moment. But that may change with the new, I know maps, they want to add the rocks into the third, so it's automatically down.
Yeah, so that's one of the changes that they're talking about. If you can see around at the third base, the collapsible rock tower, they're considering changing that into destructible rocks. So initially, that will be totally blocked off. Makes for a much faster, safer third base, and so should mitigate some of the all-in tendencies that you get when you're not doing cross spawns, and even sometimes when you are doing cross spawns, and make this sort of a little bit stronger for macro.
Oh, Reaper KD8 charges the Queen a little bit closer to himself, but won't take any damage because of that. Very low on health, he will have to pull back. Does force one Spore to be made though, and overall, I mean, what more could you ask? If you get some kills, it's great, but delaying the Queen, forcing a Spore, at least a little bit of mineral, and the possibility of throwing your opponent off is great from Intense.
Ooh.
Lair.
Pretty quick lair. Lair before third base here. We're going to have to keep an eye on the gas count for Nistic. Higher that gets, the more we're looking towards a Muta play. But if he stays on these two,
hanging on two,
it might be more of a Roach play. We'll have to see. Oh, and this Reaper's going to come in and scout it from Intense. That's a really, really good scout. One of the disadvantages of building your lair in that position. One of the advantages of that is you get more hit points.
One thing for the Reaper is to scout into the main and see that it's two extractors. Now, that is indicative of a Roach play, but more specifically from Zerg, it's the Nidus network. This is a play I often see with Niduses. That may not be the case, but it still will be potent. He's got gas, he's got Roaches. Yeah, he's got one Overlord, and Intense is opening up with a Liberator, so he will be able to push that back. Hellion Liberator should be potent, but it's a big map. If there is a Nidus network, he's not going to be able to kill it and then cross over and do counterattack damage. He's going to have to kind of stay on his side of the map for a while, especially with Spire coming up next, and a little bit of just a delayed overall Muta play.
Yep. So looks like going for that two-base Muta was really popular in Legacy of the Void beta for quite some time. You can get the third base behind it, like you do.
Same time, a Liberator will be transferring over for Intense to hopefully be able to deny some of the mining of Nistic. Nistic just holding on lanes until then. Every once in a while, you do see some Zerg players opening up safety Roach Warren, but because it's cross spawns on a huge map, you don't really need that. And Intense is sending his Hellions over maybe soon, but still, there's a lot of Lings out.
Oh, big movement out.
They're
not scouted.
Able to do damage.
Oh, he's in the sight. He's in the line of sight blockers. The Hellions are coming in.
The Hellions moving.
Can he get
the surround? Looks like they will get that beautiful surround. Taking out one, pushing the rest back. the same time, we have a Liberator, liberating Nistic's natural base, pushing that back. Spore will reposition to deal with that. Spire's only a few seconds away to push that back, but the Hellions, they survived. They killed the Lings and are heading towards that third base.
Currently unseen by Nistic. I don't know, there's kind of an aggressive repositioning here. I think these Queens will be able to take it out. In the meantime, the Hellions doing a little bit of micro against these Zerglings. 5 Mutalisks on the way, and Stim just finishing up for Intense.
I guess the Hellions may have been wanting to kill the Queens as they were baited into those Liberators, but that will not be possible now. 3 Hellions survive, Mutas are on the way, and back at home for Intense, there's no quick third CC. Oh, there he's throwing it down right now. It's a little bit of a late third CC for now, but with his aggressive posture, I mean, he may be able to do something, but he's really just lacking on any defenses whatsoever back at home.
We are going to have 10 Mutalisks out now, or Nistic, so going to be able to take control of the map. Liberators are good against Mutas, but not 1 against 10.
Incredibly important to have that map control too, just because of the hugeness of the map. You may have the Xel'Naga, but as long as you can deny map control, deny drops right and left, which is something you see Intense do sometimes really well. Those drops, the Mutas are going to be able to really take a nice advantage in this game. Liberator tries to stutter step, but it's not going to be able to take it out. And man, overall, yeah, I'm worried for Intense. He's kind of in an awkward position where neither player has done damage, but I feel like it's much more important for him to be able to do that.
So we have the turrets finishing up relatively in time. He's going to take quite a bit of his supply out of his base to do a drop. Must feel relatively comfortable defending this number of points. Nice position over here. The Mutas are going to be able to catch out some of these Marines, but that Marine turret defense, very strong.
It's incredibly strong. It's going to force the Mutas to fall back home. No Overlord saw this drop happening, but Nistic had a little bit of an inclination it was going to go down. Mutas are on the way home. 6 more Lings, 8 more Lings are coming out, but there's not that much ground to defend. I'm not sure if the Mutas can realistically trade with these Marines, but the Sport, a little bit of damage onto the medevac. Maybe the Mutas can kill the medevac and force them here, but taking out Overlords. Nistic is supply block. 20 more Lings are on the way, but he's in such a precarious position. Maybe even needs to pull drones. This drop of Intense has done exactly what it needs to do. No Banelings. Mutas go in, but they can't fight 1-for-1 with these Marines.
Marines in a really nice spot right now, fighting it out. The final damage will be finished off here, and Intense will exit, but overall, I really like that attack from Intense. I think he got a lot of value out of it. I think a bit of problem, though. It is still 3 base versus 2 base.
He does have the third CC in his main, but there is creep blocking that third, so he's going to have to clear that out. Bio moving on in for this. But this is the style of Terran I just love. Also an armory off the back of this, which goes into that style of, I'm going to hit you, and then I'm going to fall back, but I'm going to have another army. I'm going to sacrifice army after army instead of the sometimes more of a train across the map. Intense does that really well, but now he's got to deal with a full slew of Mutas, Lings heading across the map, but really, Nistic lost a decent amount of Mutas and Intense. He's got Widow Mines, he's got Marines, he has missile turrets, almost waiting for that attack. He kind of psyched out Nistic into being able to having a decent position in this game.
Big attack coming in over here. Most of the army's out of position. 1 turret to defend. The rocks are down, but the Mutas don't care. They're going to take down one of these. Okay, they're going to commit and then pull back.
SCV's not quite pulling either when all that was happening. It looks like the SCV's pulled a little late, but the thought, I guess it's the thought that counts in theory. He thought that there was going to be some SCVs. So
it's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, man. But now we have the Intense harass coming over. Looking, the rocks are not down at the third, so the Bio will be able to push in. Widow Mine's preemptively burrowing down to provide a backbone for this army to fall back onto, and Nistic only has he doesn't have that many Banelings with the main force. Nice pre-split, as he said.
Now Banelings moving in and splitting out very nicely. More than enough to deal with this Terran force.
Oh, pushes it back, or at least the Banelings are pushed back. Only 1 Baneling left, 22 more Lings on the way, and plus 1/1. But this small Bio force is going to be able to do so much damage, and yes, the Mutas can kill it, but they're just going to take so many losses from it. But finally the Lings move in, maybe deterring the losses just a little bit, but Mutas 2, 3 maybe going to go down, 3, and possibly even a 4th. The medevacs will survive. They're going to fall back, but again, on another army for Intense. Not quite as big this time, but Widow Mines! Beautiful.
Yep.
At least they don't trip off on the
Yeah, that's what it is, really. When you're looking at the Widow Mines, losing some Zerglings to it, that's pretty much the best you're going to get. Obviously, if you get only 1 Zergling dead, that's what you want. But 4 or 5 of them per Widow Mine is not too big of a deal in most scenarios. And the economic advantage currently is slightly in the favor of our Zerg player. not that much drone killing happened at that attack. It was army for army pretty much the whole way.
Finally, we see a huge slew of mules coming in for Intense while all that was microing was happening, and he was scanning to clean up some creeps. So it should even out relatively shortly. Intense pushes in once again. He's got Hellbats, got Marauders, and he's got Widow Mines. Yeah, the second push is much more potent. Coming on, it's a little bit delayed, the parts of the army, but not only is it much more potent because of the units, but there's a fifth or sixth base, whichever one you want to call it, for Nistic up there, that has little to no defenses.
Yeah, and
the Banelings!
Oh,
he's got to be careful. Banelings going right in, no splits at all for Intense.
This is a scary army to deal with right now. Nice concave getting set up here for Nistic. Good pre-split by Intense, but moves into position. Oh, big hits on these Widow Mines, but in the end, it looks like the Zerg is going to clean this up. Nicely done.
Finally enough Banelings. In the very first attack, we had 2 or 3 at the front and then a whole bunch in the back, but there was enough stimming, enough stutter stepping to kill them. But in that attack, they were with the main army, and Intense actually has got a couple Thors in his army right now. Liberators, he's all ready to do the anti-muta, but now he's got to deal with Lings on the ground. 22 more Lings, 6 more Banelings are on the way. And, oh, the mutas are going to go directly for those Liberators. I'm not sure if it's the wisest idea. Jack attack and the missile turret.
Yeah, really nice splash damage came down from those Liberators. And, is continuing to kill Mutalisks here. Very cost-efficient play engagements from Intense here.
Intense takes down the rocks. Protecting his third is going to take his own fourth. It's a great constant pressure from Intense, and Nistic is not able to really get out under the thumb of him. He can push out, but he's now going to have to fall back. Blue Flame Hellions just finished up, just FYI, if Intense wants to start making more of those, at least with the Hellbats too. And Intense pushes out, finally is a Liberator a part of this main force before they were waiting for mutas, and they're going to shut down the reinforcements to kill it.
He hasn't scouted up till this point. Intense finally scouting this base, but it's been mostly a placeholder base. It hasn't really mined very much. Going to move in at this point in time, try to take advantage of the fact that these Liberators are in siege mode, but
I love that
underneath is going to push them away.
One Thor underneath providing enough AoE to push back majority of these mutas. Now the Thor coming in first. You know, head for me, Banelings. Marauders also at the front, putting all the tanks at the front to soak up some Baneling Blast while the Bio does the rest. But Nistic controlling pretty darn well, yet he just has so little. But a full surround may be possible. Surrounding on the right-hand side and left-hand side. Banelings go super deep, but they will not kill the Thors.
Nope, Thors stay in place. Intense's army is just too strong, despite the really good tactics there from Nistic with the surround. Intense has been up in supply for so long, and it may have looked like he was ahead via bases, but he wasn't. Nistic had 2 basically placeholder bases that weren't really mining very much. Even his base over on the right side, which is now his 3rd base, is very much not mining anything at all, and this is Intense's game. GG.
Last couple seconds of those games, great plays from Intense. The mutas magic boxing right on top of the Thors, but simply picks them up, pulls them back, and like you said, the economy was never quite there. I felt like he was just really under the thumb of Intense. As I said, the pressure was on, and he was never able to expand and fully grow, realize his potential in life like Intense's intelligence.
Yeah. I think he almost made it work. He had the base up. He had that 4th base up pretty quickly, but at that time where he would have droned it, there was a big attack from Intense, and it just kept going over and over again. It was just so, intense aggression coming in from Intense. The intensity was super intense, and, just filthy intense, really, if we're going to have to go ahead and put an adjective in front of an adjective.
Filthy! Filthy. Yeah. There's some filthy Nisticism. I think it should be a word, Nisticism.
Mysticism. It's like narcissism, but a little bit more Nistic.
Or mysticism. That's what I'm thinking. I go back to Morrowind and Elder Scrolls, so I'm thinking of my mysticism stat. Like, how good is that?
How good is your mysticism stat? I have to know.
It is very low, to be quite frank, at the moment.
That's
very, very low. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Particularly, well, I'm not particularly mystical either.
Element Finny, Element, I never shared a pronounce your name, I'm sorry, but Element in chat, stop talking over yourself. Thank you, Element. I asked if we had fixed it. Oh, wow, banned. Oh, that's harsh. Or at least deleted. Oh, Nightbot.
Wow.
Typing
in caps. Interesting.
I'll stop trying to talk over myself. That's a good point. That was game 1, though. Or was that game 1? I think that was game 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was game 1.
Maybe? Game 1 of Intense versus Nistic goes to Intense as a best of 3. The winner moves on to play in the best of 5 finals. That is Jack Attack at Jack Attack TV on Twitter. I am Drenock at DRENNOC on Twitter. And of course, Damon Knight, the guy who not only provides $100 for the prize pool, but provides a collector's edition in the finals. Jack Attack, enlighten us about the collector's edition.
Collector's edition is so cool. I got one. It's over there. Pretty awesome. You get a sweet book. You get the soundtrack. You get all kinds of art and neat stuff. The field manual of StarCraft 2 goes through every single unit and building with like super in-depth lore about how the Zerg works. Maybe if you look you'll find out how do overlords float. What is it that keeps them afloat?
How do lurkers
what about mutas?
Things?
Do they ever land? Do mutas ever land? I mean, we don't see it in game, but maybe they do in real life. All of those questions and more can be answered by the field manual, and all you have to do is say something in chat to prove to us that you are not a machine. You could say, I am not a machine. That would work. You could say, I am a machine would also work. A little bit counterintuitive, but still.
Beep boop works too. I'm down with beep boop.
Yeah, I like beep boop. It's a nice one as well.
Just Kappa, we will also accept. Only Kappa. If it's anything more than Kappa. Yeah, that should
just a single emote. Just think about, what are my emotions right now, and then emote them directly into the chat. You've shared with us a piece of your emotional self, which we, appreciate and respect, and you also prove that you're not a robot because robots don't have emotions. Very important.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah. I like it. Game 2 of the best of 3 between Intense and Nistic, the TVZ, will occur on Ruins of Seras. Jack Attack, TVZ on Ruins of Seras. Anything from Zerg do you especially have to worry about?
You just get to be happy because there's hugeness and bases everywhere. Zergs generally are happy in the maps that are large. Cross positions is preferable, but even these long horizontal positions are quite a big rush distance, and we'll just have to see. Spawning here in the top left, we have the blue Terran. He is Intense.
And his opponent in the top right-hand corner, the green Zerg player from Team Ascension, it is Nistic. You gotta say it. Holy Bane Rings, Bane Man. Like it that way. In chat. Holy Banelings, Batman in chat. I like that. I like that.
Fun have. Nistic says. Flipping his what is that? I think you know about this. Is that subject predicate switching? Fun have?
Nistic? Oh, fun have.
Much
fun
fun
have would be switching. Have fun would be switching the fun have. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I mean, I don't know the exact of what you call it in English grammar, but I just understand how it works in other languages, like Hindi, for example, which I was in India for a little while. So I get the basic of how that grammar works and how they correlate to each other in really weird ways. Fun have, for one. I don't think you'd say, or no, you'd say fun have, but you'd say it a little bit differently. You'd have some extra words in there, for Hindi at least.
Yeah, just extra words, just in case you need some. Maybe you get hungry and you need a snack. That's why you bring a couple of extra words with you. Very important.
Someone is salty about their new robotic overlords in chat. Yeah, I am salty about my new robotic overlords right now.
Are you? I mean, they're pretty fair, to be honest. I think the robotic overlords they've been quite nice to me, at least. Have you
that's pretty
experienced, rudeness from the robotic overlords so far?
I have not experienced that much rudeness,
well,
but they are controlling me, so I don't know what I can say right here. But to say about something Intense, opens up with Reaper Fast Expand like he always does. And I'm really curious to see on this map for Ruins of Seras if Nistic is going to play out like we've seen Scarlet. A couple of these is like, I can do drops. Why not? Could be potentially potent.
Yeah, drops are going to be a little bit better in the vertical position, so that makes them a bit less likely, but not impossible. Nice. Focus fire down does get one ling. And we are up to quite a few. This is pretty intense, the amount of death being distributed to these lings here. The queen's coming a little bit later than usual.
Intense off the back of this is playing the exact same build he played from game 1. Very standard, Reaper fast expanded. It's not the safe version, though. I will say that. He gets Reactor before he gets the Marine, but he does have that Reaper out there, so he doesn't really need to worry about too much. He's even going to send some Marines out to clean up Overlords. Overall, Intense, very strong, safe, solid macro plays against Nistic, who doesn't want to play that strong nor safe, solid macro play.
Ooh, Roach Warren coming in here. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Relatively early Roach Warren. We do see in this matchup, it's one of the things I really like about this matchup is you can do that now. You can play Roach styles later into the game because you can move in. You're not stuck on Roach. You can move into Ravager and Fester, and you can play that style out. Whereas Heart of the Swarm was just like, hey, Lingbane Muta, it's what you do. If you build a Roach Warren, you're just going all in or being ridiculous. We do have 5 Roaches coming out now. It's important to remember, though, that these could be just defensive Roaches, a little bit of safety Roach Warren, as we see oftentimes Zerg players do. But as we move into more and more, we're up to 8 Roaches now, 9 Roaches. This is looking to be a strong 2-base aggressive play from our Zerg player.
And Intense is getting his 3rd CC much quicker than last game. It's not a safety, I have an army, now I should make a 3rd. He's making a very quick 3rd CC and he's going to try to lie off Bio. Widowmine may not go out too well. That Reaper, it's not going to scout the Roaches coming across the map, which is exactly what it needs to be doing. Roaches are moving, and whether Intense thought he could get away with this because he won game 1 or because of the bigness of the map, it's not going to pay off well. He's
scouting it right now, so he knows exactly right now. Bunker's coming down. Intense should be relatively prepared for this. Nicely picked up. Doesn't lose anything. Trying to get some damage off for free.
2 bunkers barely finishing in time to be able to hold this fight, but it's still going to be a little bit dicey. Only 2 Ravagers are currently made for Nistic, and that is pretty
nice
big.
Dodge
He needs a couple more. Oh, very nice dodge. He needs a couple more Ravagers to start DPS downing these bunkers, but can start doing it. Widowmine is taken out. SCVs are pulled to heal these bunkers. A couple Marines coming out one by one, but finally we have the Siege Tank, the linchpin of the Protoss, Terran defense, into these early Roach Ravager pushes, and they're pushing it back. Like I was saying, he's played a little bit more greedy play where he doesn't get the Siege Tank and goes for a quick 3rd CC before anything else. But I think he may have the defense.
Push still coming through here. We're not done just yet. Nice hits. We got a little bit of tank evac micro action, and it looks like our Zerg player, Nistic, might just be going home with his tail between his legs. Nope. Oh. Just gonna be
tail between the face.
He like dropped it right.
Tail between the face, yeah.
Tail between the...
Oh, they got Siege Tank on
He's
the
very
ramp.
flexible. He's been doing yoga.
Yeah, man. But while this has happened, it's pushed the Siege Tank just a little bit farther back, yet there's not enough Roaches, not enough Ravagers. They're going to have to fall back.
This is non-stop all-in from the Zerg.
Yeah, Nistic only has 5 workers at his natural. No 3rd, nothing at all. This is non-stop all-in, but Intense, he's got all the tools. He's even got a Siege Tank on the low ground. Just like, might as well. Siege Tank also on the high ground. Bunkers are ready. I mean, this is looking great for Intense. Intense is up 1-0 in a best of 3. Looks like he may be 2-0 relatively soon.
Yep. And no drones from our Zerg player, so this is everything. Siege Tank's dealing out so much damage right now. Even that one Siege Tank in tank mode, just being aggressive, pushing forward. They do have a lot of DPS.
That's it. Well played.
Excellently done. That's the end of our last semifinals. It looks like we're going to have a TVP for our finals of the evening. It's going to be a best of 5 against Intense. Yes. Excuse me. Intense against Huck.